Wow, this is an outrageous, insane story. Check it out. It's called Black Student Arrested for Not Apologizing to White Professor. Black student arrested for not apologizing to professor. Let's get to the video. All right, let's see here.
Gets arrested because she refused to apologize to the professor. Let's take you to the video now. Here it is.
Here it is.
Bro, you're the worst teacher ever. You get me taken out of here because I want to apologize. Because I want to apologize. You started yelling at me. You trying to embarrass me about my paper. You're a terrible teacher. Is somebody recording this? Oh, everybody is. You're recording everybody. That's ridiculous. Yes, that really is. She's sitting here and say she loves black people and stuff, but you know what's happening to her? Come on now. Nah, you yelled at her first. You yelled at her first, but you know her. I yelled at her. You hear everybody's real. I have literally trained my GPA. I'm not stupid. I teach the whole class. I'm spoken. And I am not Victorian. Yeah, you are yelling at her. You are yelling at her. That's ridiculous. That's BS. I'm saying. I'm like trying to say I'm sorry. That's
It's a damn shame.
Absolute real shame, man.
To the professor, you are the problem. Now, I was told by a colleague of mine that if I keep talking against colleges and professors, that I may be dismissed from the American Association of University Professors. Well, I'm a member.
I mean, it's crazy. It's not just in college, too. I mean, it goes in high school. I remember one time I had a math teacher. Gave me a calculator because I needed a calculator for some algebra problems. He gave me a calculator, and it was all busted. Didn't work. I mean, the things like that. Then he accused me of breaking the calculator. Yeah, he starts grilling and yelling at me. So I picked up a chair, and I threw it near him, smashing on the chalkboard. Yeah, some stuff coming to his desk like that. And he blatantly says, "Get the F from my classroom right now." Yeah, he tried to get me suspended like that. I ended up getting 5 days after school detention. I didn't get suspended. So I argued my case. I said, I didn't break that calculator. He gave me a broken calculator that didn't work. But I still did pretty good in my algebra assignment. So I gave it back to him, and he accused me of broken it. I said, you're the one that gave me like that. I told you it's broken like that. But he still accused me like that. He starts yelling at me, all kinds of profanity. So I told him, shut the F up. You're a fat ass. I said, you're a fat effing pig. And I took a chair and just went wham! 3 feet from him, hit the chalkboard. And he started screaming at me, telling me, he's like, get down. He said, get the F out of my classroom. I said, I'm going to make sure you get expelled from school. Well, it didn't happen. So I blame my side of the story. So the principal just said, well, you just get 5 days after school detention. Like, no problem. Because you know what? At the time when I was going at Mount Tahoma, I lived a mile and a half from school. So I say, all right, I'll just walk home, no problem. Half an hour, go home. So this is how blatant teachers can be as well. Man.
You might as well revoke my membership today. Because I'd be damned if I ever stop advocating for those who have been wronged. Do you know what you did to that child?
Yeah.
To the professor, do you know what you've done? We got something for you. Let's put up the picture full mass here.
Right here.
North Carolina. Okay?
That's the teacher and that's the student.
A 20-year-old Winston-Salem State University student was arrested in class because she would not apologize to her professor. After the professor...
I mean, do you know how blatant that is? Do you know how blatant that is? Because this professor had this student arrested because the student wouldn't apologize. I mean, most likely, you know what it was? You were going to find out. It was over an assignment, a classroom assignment. Here we go.
According to witnesses, yelled at her first, trying to embarrass her about a paper. The TikTok user who posted the arrest identified the student as Layla. The professor has been identified as Cynthia Villagomez, while the arresting officer is named Michael Rao. Reporter Louis Tran of NBC 12 WXII News had details about the charges against the student. According to the documents from the Forsyth County Magistrate's office, the 20-year-old student is facing a misdemeanor of disorderly conduct charge. Her court appearance is scheduled for January 25th, 2023 at 9 a.m. A WSSU leader tells me police follow campus, police, and public safety policies. Okay, so you mean to tell me there's a policy that will allow something like that to happen on the campus? Let's be very clear. She's in school.
Yeah.
Madam Professor. She's in a classroom, which means she wants better. She is engaged in a process.
Yeah, when you get students at school, reason why they're at school is to better themselves. That way they can get the learning, the skills to go out to the real society to handle a good learning job out there.
For you to fill her up with encouragement, education, know-how, not to do this to her. Whatever that argument may have been, it's not worthy of having a student in your classroom arrested who posed no threat to you whatsoever.
Not at all.
But that's what you decided to do.
It was just a verbal exchange.
Let me give you background on the argument that led to this arrest.
It was only a verbal exchange. I mean, no threats would be made.
In an Instagram live stream. Leila said that she submitted an essay as part of a group project, only for the professor to tell her the work was completely wrong. And she revised the essay just 6 hours ahead of the deadline. When she turned up for class the next day, the professor approached her about the essay, and when she said she wasn't going to redo it, they got into an argument. She starts yelling at me, telling me this is her class, so it doesn't matter what I think, she continued. I got loud back, raising my voice too. You're yelling at me. I'm going to redo it. I'm not going to redo it. I'm here to present with my group. At that point, she was told to leave the classroom. But she refused because she was adamant about completing the group project. The professor then left the classroom, spoke with another member of the faculty, and then the police showed up shortly after. The young lady, the student, alleged that the professor told campus security that she told officers to remove her from the classroom. The professor demanded an apology, but she did not because she believes she didn't do anything wrong. Winston-Salem State University released a statement. Here's the statement. We received a report that there was a significant commotion in Carolina Hall this morning. And as such, a WSSU employee nearby called for the assistance of law enforcement after they tried to de-escalate the situation. Reads the statement. We understand that the weaponization of police is a prevalent problem in our community. However, that is not what happened in this incident. We strive for a safe, inclusive, thriving, and intellectual community where all faculty, staff, and students feel respected and supported. To that end, we will take swift and appropriate measures against any situation that contradicts those ideas. Put up the picture of the chancellor.
Check it out.
Elwood L. Robinson is the chancellor of Winston-Salem State University. Sir, let me say this to you. And I'm speaking to you as not only a concerned black man, but also as a college professor and college administrator. You know good and damn well that an argument should not lead to a 911 call.
No way. You know, and that's the problem I had. You know, you get people out there exaggerate. Some people get a heated argument and then all of a sudden they feel like they're threatened with words. So they're going to call 911. Just like this professor. No, he wasn't in the midst of like that. But he had to call 911 because the professor got an argument with the student. Just words. Verbal exchange words. Heated words. No weapons are drawn. Nobody's throwing a punch or slap or anything like that. Just back and forth. It happens. Doesn't mean you need to call 911. And here's the problem. And that professor called 911. Guess what you're doing? Guess what you're doing when you call 911? Making statements, even bogus claims that this person is a violent criminal or has a weapon. You are bringing a gun to the situation. To the professor, you're bringing a gun to the situation, which doesn't need. You don't need to have a gun in a situation for verbal exchange.
Arguments happen
Yes.
on college campuses. Nobody was in danger.
Nope.
Nobody was threatened.
Nobody was.
It was an
throwing
argument.
punches.
That argument may warrant some level of discipline,
Yeah.
but it does not warrant a gun to be called to the
Exactly.
situation. You do understand, dear sir, that student could be dead. You know that, right? Because somebody.
Yeah. That's her. She could have been shot dead by the cops, or she could have been bodily injured. What if the cop decided, because the cops didn't like her, her words or exchange or a verbal argument like that, so they decided, we're gonna whip it, we're gonna get her taser on, taser, or we're gonna shove her classroom, or the cops feel threatened by their lives or their safety, so they're gonna pull out their guns.
At your school called a gun on one of your students. Now, at some point, chancellors and presidents and professors, you have to remember why you are there. You should be there because you are a student advocate. Now, you went to school for a long time, just like me. Got a bunch of degrees.
Yep.
You sat in class, did the homework, dissertation, defended it. You got your fancy doctorate degree to do what?
And the one thing is, I would tell this professor, just because of the heated exchange, you should sympathize as well. You're thinking, okay, maybe cool heads can fail. Time out between these two, we can talk it out and see what we need to do from here on in. Like maybe you could tell the student, like, okay, and you could tell us, like, okay, maybe you don't have to do it, or maybe you can tweak it a little bit like that. But the fact that you had to call a gun in the situation, and the professor demands the student to apologize, and she said, I don't have to apologize. I busted my butt doing that paperwork. And she said, well, it's wrong. What? Screw that.
Don't call yourself doctor if you're not willing to heal children, period. These people are young adults who you are entrusted to be their advocates and their guides. You don't know the damage you have done to this young lady. You have no idea.
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts?
No, I think that's exactly right. You go to college to try to get ahead. You go to college because you're told to go to college. You go to college to learn, to feel like it is a safe space to engage in discussion and debate without being arrested. And of course, with the professor themselves, that's who you are supposed to look up to. That's who's supposed to look at you and see the future, not look at you and see a criminal for talking back. I'm sorry. First of all, this is never okay. And we've seen the ways in elementary schools and middle schools and high schools that cops have been called on some BS. But now you're in college and you're still being treated like a criminal, right? And this is, again, what young black kids are told all the time. Well, if you go to college, then you won't be treated like a criminal. And then there you go. Look,
Yep.
being treated like a criminal. And it's just insane, the weakness that it shows of this professor, who wants her little dangerous minds moment. Oh, but when it gets a little real, when she has to have a discussion, an argument, she can't take it, so she calls in the cops. Get out of here.
It's ridiculous. All right, we are.
It's crazy. When you get a teacher, professor, didn't like the words or like that, so they're going to get butthurt, call the cops on that. Yeah, they're going to call a gun on the situation because they didn't like the words that come out of people's mouths like that. What the hell is up with people these days? It's not just professor. You get people out there just calling the cops on you because they didn't like the words out of your mouth. So they're going to go around and butt her like sissified little princess. I'm like, suck it up, cupcake. This is reality. It's 101. You don't like someone's words? Tough it up. Suck it up. It's not like he threw a punch at you or pulled a gun on you. But you get so butthurt you had to call 911 and make up bullshit claims. You get people out there saying, "Oh, I feel for my life. He's got a gun." Da 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 da. Yeah, didn't you call it a gun? What if the cop pulls a gun on the person and kills him? It's crazy. With that, send him out here. Peace out.